As a neurologist, I need you to understand a truth that many people ignore. Stroke is not just another illness. It is one of the leading causes of death worldwide, striking every few minutes and leaving families devastated. The frightening part is that a stroke often arrives suddenly, in the middle of daily routines, or even while you sleep. Yet its roots have been growing quietly for years. When blood flow to the brain is blocked, or when a blood vessel bursts, the brain is starved of oxygen. Within minutes, brain cells begin to die. And with each passing moment, the damage spreads. Survivors are often left with lifelong disabilities such as paralysis, loss of speech, or memory decline. This is why recognizing the causes, the early warning signs, and the steps to prevent stroke is not optional. It is essential. What makes stroke so dangerous is that it can happen to anyone. Age increases the risk, but younger adults are not completely safe. Conditions like high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease, high cholesterol, and unhealthy lifestyle habits silently weaken the brain's defenses every day. Sometimes the only warning is a brief episode of dizziness, numbness, or slurred speech that lasts a few minutes and then disappears. Many ignore these signals, but they are alarms that a major stroke could strike soon. The hopeful truth is that there are clear actions you can take now to protect yourself and reduce the risk. In this video, I will guide you through the hidden triggers, the common signs, and the proven ways to guard your brain. Before we begin, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced sudden dizziness, numbness, or trouble speaking? Even if it went away quickly, share your experience in the comments because your story could help others recognize the danger before it is too late. 1. What is a stroke? A stroke, often called a brain attack, happens when the blood supply to a part of the brain is suddenly interrupted. Without a steady flow of oxygen and nutrients carried by the blood, brain cells begin to die within minutes. Unlike other parts of the body, the brain cannot tolerate even brief moments without oxygen. This is why stroke is considered a true medical emergency. Every second lost means more brain tissue destroyed. There are two main types of stroke that everyone should understand. The first is ischemic stroke, which accounts for the vast majority of cases. It occurs when a blood clot forms and blocks an artery leading to the brain, cutting off circulation. The second is hemorrhagic stroke, which occurs when a weakened blood vessel bursts and bleeds into the brain. Both types are devastating, but the mechanisms are different, and both require immediate attention. There is also a condition known as a transient ischemic attack, sometimes called a mini stroke. In this case, the blood flow to the brain is temporarily reduced or blocked, causing symptoms similar to stroke that last only a few minutes before resolving. Many people brush these episodes aside because they recover quickly, but this is a grave mistake. A transient ischemic attack is a clear warning sign that a larger dose, more damaging stroke may strike in the near future. The consequences of stroke are not limited to survival. Even if a person lives through the event, they may be left with permanent damage, paralysis of one side of the body, difficulty speaking, loss of vision, or profound changes in mood and memory are all common outcomes. These disabilities rob people of independence and place enormous emotional and physical burdens on families. Understanding what a stroke is and how quickly it can destroy brain cells is the first step in recognizing why prevention is so critical. Think of it this way. Your brain is the command center of your life. When a stroke strikes, it is as if the power supply is cut off without warning. Recovery is often incomplete, and the best defense is to act before it happens. Knowing the types of stroke, the dangers of ignoring brief warning signs, and the irreversible damage they cause will help you appreciate why every measure to prevent them is worth taking. 2. Causes of stroke. To understand how to protect yourself from stroke, you must first recognize the many factors that quietly increase its likelihood. Some causes are beyond your control, while others are shaped directly by the way you live each day. Both sets of factors combine to determine the level of risk you carry. Age is one of the strongest influences. After the age of 55, the chance of having a stroke doubles with every passing decade. The aging process naturally weakens blood vessels and increases the chance of clot formation. Gender and genetics also play a role. Men tend to have strokes at younger ages, while women often face higher mortality when strokes occur. A family history of stroke raises the probability as well, showing that inherited traits can affect vessel strength and blood chemistry. Race and ethnicity add another layer, with studies showing that African American individuals in particular face nearly double the risk compared to white individuals, partly due to higher rates of hypertension and diabetes. These unchangeable factors set the stage. But it is the health conditions and habits you can influence that often push the body past its breaking point. High blood pressure is the single most powerful risk factor for stroke. It silently damages arteries, making them stiff and fragile, until one day a clot forms or a vessel bursts. Diabetes contributes by damaging small vessels and thickening blood, raising the chance of blockages, heart disease, including atrial fibrillation, creates irregular rhythms that allow clots to form and travel directly to the brain. High cholesterol builds layers of plaque inside arteries, narrowing the space for blood to flow. Obesity compounds these problems by driving up blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar all at once. Smoking doubles the risk of stroke because it accelerates hardening of the arteries, increases clotting, and forces the heart to work harder. Even secondhand smoke exposes vessels to the same toxins. Excessive alcohol weakens the liver, raises blood pressure, and disrupts the heart's rhythm, each of which adds another layer of danger. Beyond these medical conditions and toxic exposures, lifestyle choices carry great weight. Diets high in saturated fats, processed foods, and sugar gradually erode vascular health. Inactivity allows blood pressure and weight to rise unchecked. Chronic stress bathes the body in hormones that constrict vessels and encourage clotting. Even the failure to attend regular medical checkups allows silent problems to advance without detection. The causes of stroke are rarely a single trigger. They are the sum of years of pressure, inflammation, and neglect. That is why prevention requires a comprehensive approach. Controlling blood pressure, maintaining healthy weight, managing diabetes, treating heart disease, avoiding smoking and excessive alcohol, eating a balanced diet, and staying active are all critical steps. Think of each cause as a piece of wood placed on a fire. Alone, it may not spark an immediate blaze, but together they create a flame that eventually erupts. By understanding and addressing these causes, you remove fuel from the fire before it engulfs your brain. Recognizing that stroke is not random, but the predictable result of identifiable risks gives you the power to act now. Prevention is not about eliminating risk entirely, but about reducing it to the lowest possible level through consistent choices that protect your heart and brain. 3. Warning signs of stroke. One of the most frightening aspects of stroke is how suddenly it can appear. Yet, in many cases, the body gives clear warnings, signals that should never be ignored. These signs may come and go in minutes, but they are often the last chance to act before permanent damage strikes. Recognizing them quickly can mean the difference between recovery and lifelong disability. A classic sign is sudden weakness or numbness affecting the face, arm, or leg, often on just one side of the body. The smile may suddenly appear uneven. An arm may refuse to lift, or the leg may feel heavy and unresponsive. These changes happen because part of the brain is no longer receiving blood. Another common signal is difficulty speaking. Words may come out slurred. Sentences may be incomplete, or the person may not understand what is being said. A simple test is to ask them to repeat a short sentence. If they cannot, even briefly, treat it as an emergency. Vision problems also occur frequently. Sudden blurriness, double vision, or loss of sight in one or both eyes can all signal a stroke in progress. Balance issues are another warning sign. If a person suddenly feels dizzy, stumbles, or cannot coordinate their movements, it may reflect damage in the brain regions that control posture. A sudden, severe headache that feels different from any before is especially alarming. Known as a thunderclap headache, it can signal bleeding inside the brain and must be treated urgently. Nausea or vomiting may accompany this pain. These symptoms are not always permanent. In a transient ischemic attack, also called a mini-stroke, they can vanish within minutes. Too many people dismiss these episodes because they recover quickly. But this is a mistake that can cost them their independence or even their life. A mini-stroke is not harmless. It is a red warning light that a major stroke may strike in days or weeks. Time is the most critical factor. Neurologists speak of the golden hour, the first 60 minutes after symptoms appear. Every minute that blood flow is blocked, nearly 2 million brain cells die. This is why immediate action is essential. If you or someone near you experiences any of these signs, do not wait to see if it passes. Call emergency services right away. Do not attempt to drive yourself or downplay the seriousness. Quick medical intervention can dissolve clots, control bleeding, and save brain tissue, but only if treatment begins without delay. Remember, the brain does not regenerate lost cells easily. Once damage occurs, recovery is often incomplete. Treat every warning sign, no matter how brief, as a medical emergency. By learning these signals and responding quickly, you give yourself the best chance of survival and the greatest hope of avoiding long-term disability. 4. How to prevent stroke. The most important truth about stroke is that prevention is possible. While age and genetics cannot be changed, the majority of risk factors are directly influenced by daily choices. Prevention is not about a single action, but about building a lifestyle that protects the brain over time. Diet is a cornerstone. The food you eat either strengthens or weakens your arteries. A diet rich in fresh vegetables, fruits, legumes, whole grains, and lean protein supports healthy blood flow and reduces inflammation. Fish, eggs, and white meats provide high-quality protein without the excess saturated fat that clogs arteries. Replacing red meats and fried foods with grilled or steamed options, and limiting sugar and processed snacks lowers cholesterol and helps keep blood vessels open. Drinking water, low-fat dairy, and natural juices instead of sugary beverages also lightens the burden on your cardiovascular system. Regular physical activity is equally powerful. Exercise stimulates circulation, lowers blood pressure, and strengthens the heart. Just 30 minutes of walking most days of the week can dramatically reduce stroke risk. Aerobic activities like swimming, biking, or dancing improve endurance, while strength training and balance exercises preserve muscle and coordination, preventing falls and injuries that complicate recovery. Consistency matters more than intensity. So find activities you enjoy and make them part of your routine. Protecting yourself from extreme temperatures is another often overlooked step. Cold weather in particular can cause blood pressure to spike and may trigger vessel rupture. Older adults should dress warmly, avoid sudden exposure to cold, and be mindful during seasonal changes. Avoiding toxins is also critical. Smoking doubles the risk of stroke by damaging vessels and accelerating plaque buildup. Quitting at any age brings immediate benefits, with risk dropping significantly within a few years. Excessive alcohol must also be avoided, as it weakens the heart, raises blood pressure, and interferes with healthy rhythms. Moderation is key. But for those at high risk, complete abstinence may be best. Regular health checkups serve as an early warning system. Silent conditions such as hypertension, high cholesterol, and diabetes often progress unnoticed until a stroke strikes. By monitoring these numbers with your doctor, problems can be identified and treated before they cause permanent harm. People with a history of stroke, heart disease, or metabolic disorders should be especially vigilant with frequent screenings and follow-up care. Stress management and social connection complete the circle of prevention. Chronic stress raises blood pressure and disrupts vessel health, while isolation increases depression and unhealthy coping behaviors. Simple practices such as meditation, breathing exercises, community involvement, or spending time with loved ones can lower stress hormones and provide emotional balance. Stroke is not random. It is the predictable outcome of risk factors left unchecked. Prevention requires attention to diet, activity, warmth, medical care, and lifestyle. Think of each preventive measure as a shield. Alone, each shield offers some protection, but together they create a barrier strong enough to protect the brain for years to come. By acting now, you do not simply reduce numbers on a chart. You preserve independence, memory, and quality of life. Prevention is not a choice for tomorrow. It is an urgent responsibility for today. Doctor's final words. As a neurologist, my final message to you is simple yet urgent. Stroke is not a mystery. It is not random fate. And it is not something that happens only to others. It is a predictable medical event that strikes when silent risks are left unaddressed. Every choice you make either moves you closer to danger or builds a wall of protection around your brain. The tragedy is that so many people ignore early symptoms, dismiss brief warning signs, or postpone lifestyle changes until it is too late. The hopeful truth is that it is never too late to act. Even small steps taken today can reduce blood pressure, improve circulation, and lower the chance that a stroke will rob you of speech, memory, or independence. Think of stroke prevention as a lifelong investment. Eating wisely, moving daily, managing stress, and staying socially connected are not luxuries. They are essential medicines for the aging brain. Avoiding smoking and limiting alcohol are not simply health advice. They are powerful shields that protect fragile blood vessels from breaking. Regular checkups are not a chore. They are a lifeline that allows hidden problems to be caught before they cause permanent harm. I encourage you to reflect on your own habits and make changes now. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments, because your story may inspire someone else to take action before disaster strikes. Remember, prevention is not about fear. It is about empowerment. You have the ability to protect your brain, preserve your independence, and continue living fully. Do not wait for a crisis to teach you the value of health. Act now. Commit to these changes. And give yourself the gift of more years with clarity, strength, and dignity. Stroke can take everything in seconds, but prevention can give you life for decades. The decision is in your hands.